Howdy ho, neighbor. It's Manny Moonraker from UFO Buster Radio, and you just tuned in to episode 154? Sometimes I write down the episodes, and I have no idea what the heck I'm typing on here. Yeah, 154. I just had to confirm that. It gets a little crazy. And let me tell you guys, I went back into my Twitter account. Now, you know how I keep on saying Twitter is 4.2 far messed up. And it turns out that the Moonraker had his Twitter notifications turned on 0 off. So, I wasn't getting any information from anyone. I thought Twitter died. I thought somebody shot the little bird in his effing face and killed it. But it turns out it was me. Or at least my app was not set to receive notifications. So, because I went in today, and I'm getting all these messages. I'm being invited to conversations and chats about UFOs. I've even got one individual who's sending images of TR-3Bs. You know who you are. Where do you live? I did a response finder. I said, where do you live? I even went and followed him on Instagram. And on Instagram, holy fajolies, spaghetti and meatballies, this guy has so many images of what he believes are TR-3Bs. It is unfreaking believable. Give me a shout out. Let me know where you live. We got to get somebody on this. Also, recently on YouTube, and forgive me, I don't have your name to put on here, because if I try to flip over to YouTube right now, this podcast will be 4.2 far fucked, and it'll be over in an instant. But I did get a message from someone about Nick Pope. And a timely message, because right now, as you can tell, I've got the sniffles. It's cold as hell in Texas, by the way. Anyway, Nick Pope saying that, Nick Pope is a rubber dicker. No one believes Nick Pope, and it turns out that the news article for today is about Nick Pope and something he said about the POTUS. And since when did we start doing POTUS? As soon as Trump got elected, we just decided to take a shortcut, and instead of saying President of the United States, we just say POTUS all the time? God damn. God damn it all. But anyway, it's about POTUS and Nick Pope. So here's a funny thing, a little story. The reason why I ended up on Twitter today was because Project Capture had retweeted this Express UK article we're about to talk about. And it was about Nick Pope and the whole POTUS situation. And so I tweeted back, and I mentioned Nick Pope himself. And I was like, hey, I thought Nick Pope used to say that, Nick Pope, he's poking us, all right. I thought Nick Pope used to say that there was no real evidence of UFOs. I distinctly remember him saying that quite a few times, making people sound like they're just fucked up in the head and going through all kinds of mental issues. Is it me? Can somebody tell me? Somebody hit me up and let me know. Am I making shit up now? Hasn't Nick Pope in the past said that there's no real evidence? And if there's no real evidence, Nick Pope, but wait, I'm not even going to talk about that yet. We got to get into the article first, and then I'll ask that question. Because I sent it to him anyway. Of course, he won't respond. Nicky Pope, he's not going to respond. That's not going to happen. But anyway, folks, UBR truth seekers, UBR listeners, your rubber dicker of the year is going to make an appearance on December the 13th. Thanks to Tommy Voltaire. Like I said, I wasn't getting any notifications, but I came across this message from Tommy. Thanks to Tommy Voltaire. Move On TV has some kind of a show going on YouTube now, and it's going to start on December the 13th. On the trailer that they have on there now, they actually state they support To the Stars Academy. Are you serious? I mean, is the world of ufology just full of rubber dickers? Are we just stuck with rubber dickers left and right? I don't understand what in the flying fuck is happening in ufology. But in this damn trailer, they say that they support To the Stars Academy. What do you support, MUFON? The same people who had Corey Good in their last symposium. What the fuck are you supporting? What is this about? Am I going to tune in on the 13th? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I might just do it just for, as they say, shits or giggles. I might just do it. I might just pick myself up by my big girl panties and tune in. I don't know. At this point, my big girl panties are pretty stretched out, so I don't know if I could do that. I might tear them. In other news, I also like to thank Truth Chaser Karen and Eric because they retweeted episode 85 of the UFO Report, which I talked about something I discovered in a sinister way, and that is that Rob Bigelow, the space gigolo, and Bob Lazar back in the day had a bit of a connection in a corporation that was out of Nevada, and the name of it was Zeta Reticuli 2. Quite the ominous name, I must say. So I got the link to that episode in the description if you guys want to check it out. I don't know. I wouldn't check it out. You know, the old me is not like the new me. Like, every episode, I give more and more no fucks. And so that guy, back in episode 85, which is almost, a long fucking time ago, that guy probably gives a shit about the fact that there was this connection with Lazar and the gigolo, but the space gigolo to be exact. But this guy here, no fucks are given twice the time. Anyway, you know, that's my recap. Oh, lastly, someone did send me a message on that Podbean deal. Podbean. How I love to hate you. The thing with Podbean, folks, is that sometimes they let me answer and sometimes they don't. So they let me know that a message was there, what the message was, and maybe it was just Google fucking me over because I couldn't see who sent the message, but it did say something about a UFO community would be a great idea. And actually, through Facebook, a lot of people have been saying it. Some people are nervous, of course. Some people are like, no, Moonraker, I don't want to put my info anywhere else. I'm tired of being given it, or receiving it, not giving it, receiving it from Facebook all the time because they're selling my information. And folks, let me just say this. Everybody is selling your information. Your damn cell phones are selling your information. Your cable provider is selling your information. It is no coincidence that the commercials that you watch, whether you're on your mobile phone or your TV, seem to follow everything you've been doing. There is a zero people out there that are not tracking you in some way. Sorry, but I hate to break that to you. This shit happens. Big Brother's watching, but Big Brother, for the most part, is interested in filling the piggy bank. And that's where things are going 4.2 for AWOL, pretty much. Nick Pope is back in the news. And as a matter of fact, I just want to thank Nick Pope for doing this because I was like, what am I going to talk about today to the UBR truth seekers, to the people who would like to listen to the Moonraker and his madness. Well, here's a title. And listen, don't fall out. I want you to, if you're sitting in your car or you're sitting at your desk, you're typing away, I want you to just listen to this. Here's the headline. Donald Trump may have launched U.S. Space Force Army after learning about America's UFO secrets, expert claims. It kills me how all of a sudden, every time they make it to the Express, they become an expert. You know, like Scott C. Waring. Ooh, he is an expert. He actually, I'm going to be honest, but Scott C. Waring in the Express UK article got a higher title than Nick Pope because Scott C. Waring was world-renowned conspiracy theorist. Nick Pope, he was just an expert. No fucks given. You got fucked. Anyway, so it turns out that Mr. former MOD insider Nick Pope apparently is telling people that there is no way on God's green earth. There is no way on planet Mars. There is no way on Zeta Reticuli that Donald Trump does not know about UFOs. There is no way that he is being kept in the dark about the potential UFO threats. Now, my memory might be pretty shitty at times, but I swear that it was not Donald Trump who proposed the Space Force. I believe it was 2 congressmen that actually wrote the bill to put it through. I mean, that's just my belief. I'm pretty sure that's the way it went. It wasn't Donald Trump who sat there with his gold pen and decided to ink the bill for the Space Force, rubber dicker. Anyway, that's Nick Pope. You guys love him. But sometimes you just gotta love to hate him. But according to Nick Pope, he says that basically, since he used to be for the work for the Ministry of Defense, MOD, that he knows things and he knows a lot of people. But he says it is absolutely rubbish to suggest that the president of all damn people in the world, especially of the United States, would be kept in the dark about UFOs. And he said, here's a quote by Nick Pope. There are conspiracy theories suggesting President Trump's plans for a Space Force reflect the need to protect Earth against hostile aliens. We see them in the movies every year. There were similar conspiracy theories about President Reagan's Star Wars plan. While they may not be an alien connection, President Trump surely knows all of America's UFO secrets, some of which were released earlier this year as part of the ATIP program being kept in the dark about potential UFO threats, as some conspiracy theorists believe. Listen, I look at the presidency for Donald J. Trump right now, and many say that he's considered like a loose cannon, you know. He doesn't play by the norms. Like, he goes to other countries and he pisses all over their idea of anything. Handshakes, bowing, not bowing your head, you know, farting left and he'll fart right. Listen, there is no way that if he's considered basically a loose cannon of a president, then anyone's going to tell him that E.T. is sitting on the other side of Mars and is probing people on the daily. You just wouldn't do that. You just wouldn't do that. It's like telling Clint Eastwood to get his gun loaded because there's people that are going to show up just for the fuck's sake to be practiced on for shooting at the shooting range. I don't see that happening. But hey, listen, there's more Nick Pope had to say. The president needs to know all the big, important things as part of the culture of no surprise. Are you shitting me, Nick Pope? If anyone in the military-industrial complex is keeping UFO secrets from President Trump or suggesting he keep quiet about things, they may be in for a rude awakening. He's particularly forceful and strong-willed president and won't take kindly to being kept in the dark or told how to play the UFO issue. The UFO community fantasizes about disclosure. Maybe President Trump will just tweet it one evening. You know what? Hey, listen, fucktard. By the way, I want to thank the people that listen to UFO Buster Radio for supplying me with that term, fucktard. I actually, it was quite a few people. Chris was one of them, Chris G, and there was a lot of other people who, in the last 2 weeks, have used the term fucktard. I kind of like it. It kind of rings true. But this fucktard, Nick Pope, you are part of the UFO community, you rubber dicker. What the hell is he talking about, fantasizing about disclosure? Really, Nick Pope? What community are you part of? And I'm reading this, it almost feels like Nick Pope is trying to sign up to satisfy the old prez in a bigly way. I'm sorry. I know I went there. I shouldn't have gone there. But still, Nick Pope, I'm sorry. You are kissing up to the wrong guy. President Trump does not give two fucks about you. And I think that if most of the people in the UFO community read this article, you will have an even greater bunch of people that won't even give two fucks about you either. How can a UFO community just fantasize about disclosure? I mean, I don't fantasize about disclosure. I am well aware that there is no fucking thing as disclosure, you rubber dicker. And by the way, the 2018 Rubber Dicker of the Year, if you go watch that video from MUFON, he even says kind of the same thing. He says there is no like one hit disclosure. We're in disclosure right now. It's happening. It's happening every day. Yeah, okay. I'm sure it is somewhere. Somebody's getting disclosure. I don't think we are, folks. I don't think we are the fortunate ones to be receiving the bountiful thing that's called disclosure. No, we're not getting that. And Nick Pope, if you're not part of the UFO community, get the fuck out. And that's the way it should be. People need to stop interviewing him since he thinks so bad about the UFO community. And since we are all so fucked up in the head, why is he writing books about UFOs? Why don't you go put a cookbook together, you rubber dicker? I swear. I mean, he's like a month too late. I bet you after this article, he would have won the 2018 Rubber Dickies. I'm pretty sure of it. But he does that all the time. He's like shitting on ufology like he's got endless diarrhea. And people still, they just suck it up. They suck it all up. Because it's Nick Pope, and he worked for the MOD at one point. And every time I think about Nick Pope, I think about this little nerd guy sitting, 3 levels under the basement in a broom closet with no desk, researching UFOs. And the whole time he's mumbling to himself angrily about his fucking job, his sucky-ass life, and how a bunch of idiots in UK think they see UFOs. That's who I think Nick Pope is. And he had to leave that shitty little job, and now he's basically sucking ufology dry. Making some money, selling books, making appearances. But we, in the community of UFO people who believe in UFOs, he's telling us we're delusional. Are you delusional? If you're delusional, wherever you're at right now, raise your hand. You can do it. Go ahead. So there you go. That's it for today. I mean, that kind of made me kind of pissed off, Nick Pope. I mean, and people keep saying Nick Pope is the biggest disinformation campaign guru there is out there. And again, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, I don't know, Nicky Popey. I don't think that you got it right on this one. I mean, honestly, I don't think you got it right of any of them. But no fucks given. That's the way it is. If you want to listen to more of the podcast, follow me wherever you feel like it. But if you want to help the podcast, share me wherever you're at. Like it wherever you're at. Tell your people wherever you're at. And you can put your hand down now. I don't want you to get any cramps or anything like that. Go ahead and put your hand down. You're good. This is Manny Moonraker, and I'm ending this freaking podcast because Nick Pope really fucked it up for me. But I hope you really got to see who Nick Pope is. I hope that you also take a moment. I know it's like $16, but take a moment and go watch that Bob Lazar video. And listen, I'm going to be the first one to say that after the Stan Romanek video documentary, I don't think anyone in ufology should do any more documentaries. So if Bob Lazar ends up in prison, we know it's bad news. If somebody approaches you and says, hey, you want to be in a documentary about UFOs? Say no. Say no and run. But we'll see what happens to Bob Lazar after this documentary. I'm going to try to check it out this coming weekend. I hope somebody else does too, and we can have some conversation about the so-called new evidence or new information or whatever it is that they're trying to get people to buy this little pay-per-view dealio here on Vimeo. I'm not even going to share that description. If you want it, you need to go find it. I'm not going to share the link, but the link to everything else that I talked about is in the description. I thank you guys for listening. I hope you had. I guess I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. I'm so like over Nick Pope right now. But in the words of Stan Lee, because I'm still celebrating the life of Stan Lee, Excelsior!